You're about to discover my 4 secret low-cost marketing strategies I use to attract dozens of new students to my tutoring business and generate thousands and thousands of pounds in additional revenue. Make sure you turn off all distractions and stay glued to your screen. You don't want to miss a single word. I don't usually do presentations like this, and I have no idea how long I'll keep this up for, so take full advantage of this while you can. Before I show you my 4 secret marketing strategies, let me tell you a little bit about myself and my story. My name is Jeevan Singh, and I started my tuition business a few years ago while studying at university. To be honest, progress was slow. This is because I followed the usual approach. I mentioned my new business to friends and family, and I managed to get a referral, which at the beginning was great. I was teaching my first student and getting paid for the first time. But soon after that, I needed to get more students. I knew teaching one student wasn't going to pay the bills in the long term, so I had to set about looking for more students. I received leaflets in the letterbox one day and I thought, why not do the same in my area to raise awareness? But I made the classic mistake of not thinking about my target market first before launching a marketing campaign. So I went out there and posted around 1,000 leaflets in my local area. It took me an awful long time, and in the end I only received one phone call, which sucked. The person who rang me was just a tire kicker and didn't become a student in the end. My confidence hit rock bottom at this point, and I almost packed in my tutoring venture altogether. I didn't think it was going to work. Are you experiencing the same at the moment? Are you delivering hundreds of leaflets to houses in your local area or running ads in local newspapers and getting hardly any response? If you are, don't feel disheartened. It just means you have to tweak your advertising strategies so they're more targeted, because this is the key to generating a greater response. Your adverts have to be shown to the right audience at the right time. The problem with posting leaflets at random is it's not targeted at all. Consider the road that you live on. You can probably think of 3 or 4 houses which do not contain any school children in them. Well, if you were to post your leaflets through these houses, what do you think is going to happen? You're right, they're going to chuck it straight in the bin. Running ads in local newspapers is less effective than posting leaflets because it's competing with hundreds of other ads inside the newspaper. Also, newspapers are not delivered to all the homes. A local resident has to go out and collect them from a nearby newsagent or supermarket, so there is a high chance the newspaper will not even reach their hands, let alone opening it and spotting your ad amongst hundreds of others inside the newspaper. After my first leafleting campaign, I went back to the drawing board. I really thought about who my customer really was and drew up a profile of them. This is critical in marketing because you have to know who your target market is before creating the adverts. I quickly realized that it wasn't the students themselves that are my customers, but it's the parents of these students instead, because they ultimately decide whether their child needs a tutor or not. Students don't like to study, and they certainly don't want to be tutored by a complete stranger. In most cases, it is their parents who force them to get tuition. Great, now I knew who my ideal customer was. How was I going to put my advert in front of this group of people? I brainstormed dozens of different ideas, tested each one out, and recorded the response and conversion rates. The conversion rate is the percentage of people who become clients in the end. It was a painstaking process, but it was the only way I could identify the most cost-effective ways to advertise. I tried everything under the sun. I even tried teaming up with local driving instructors to target A-level students because students learn to drive, meet this age range. It sounds like a great idea, but it turned out to be a right lemon. Why? Because, again, I was not focusing on my target market, which is parents. I was focusing too much on the students. After months and months of tedious testing and tracking the results, I narrowed down this list to just 4 techniques. These techniques are like the cream of the crop. They are by far the best offline advertising strategies a tutor can use in their business. They are the cheapest to implement, yet they generate the highest response and conversion rates. When I put these strategies into practice, I had 50 new inquiries in just a couple of months. I was stunned. I didn't know there were that many students that needed tuition in my local area. But as you know, the industry is booming of late. Every year there are thousands of students who need tuition. That's why it's vital to have the right marketing strategies at hand so you can capture a fair share of this ready-made market. Now, if you carry on the way you are, posting leaflets to every household and handing a business card to every person in town, you may eventually stumble upon these 4 techniques, but a lot of time and money will be wasted in the process. To save you all of this time and money, I'm going to give you these 4 techniques today. I cannot go into detail about each one of those strategies right now because I'll be talking to you for hours. I'm sure you've got other things to do. So what I've done is compiled them into a guide. You can sit down and study each technique at your own leisure. It's a no-nonsense guide that shows you what advertising strategies will work and therefore bring dozens of new students to your tutoring business. By copying these techniques, you will see a surge in demand for your tutoring service. In the guide, I'll also show you how to increase your credibility dramatically by making a few changes to your current business model. By making these simple changes, it will put you well ahead of the average tutor population. I'll also show you the exact same adverts I use to attract dozens of students to my tutoring business. There is an art to constructing the advert, and if it's not done properly, prospective customers will not take much notice of it, let alone give you a call and join your service. I'll show you a neat little trick you can use to boost your response rate from a leaflet campaign by tenfold. Remember earlier on I discussed how my first leaflet campaign only drew in one response because it was highly untargeted? Well, I discovered a neat little trick which allows me to zoom in into any household to see if there are any school children present. Then I just distribute my leaflets to these particular households and I get 10 times the response. Out of a leaflet drop of 1,000, I typically get 10 calls. This averages to 1 call out of 100 households opposed to, which doesn't seem like a lot, but there are probably 100 houses on your road. This means there could be a potential student living on your road without you knowing. I'll show you a technique I discovered from America which will put your advert in front of hundreds of parents. The great thing about this strategy is you don't have to go out there and actively look for parents to promote to. Your advert is right in front of their faces. It is so difficult to miss. When a parent rings you, you are only halfway there. You have to convince the parent you're the right person to go with. There are many tutors on a parent's radar, so you have to stand out from the crowd. In the second part of my guide, I'll show you a few pre-sale techniques that will kill off all your competition and push you to the top of a parent's list, so they really have no choice but to go with you. And lastly, I'll reveal 2 unique aspects I offer in my business that no other tutor or tuition center dares to offer. By offering these 2 aspects alone, I rose to prominence and became a top tutor in my local area. I now charge double the rate of all my competitors, and students are more than happy to pay me these rates. BG from London used my guide and he sent me this email not too long ago. Here is what he said. Thanks, Jeevan. Your marketing strategies really work. In only the first month, I attracted 16 new students to my tutoring business, and come to think of it, it only cost me peanuts to generate these leads. You see, when I carried out my initial research, I spent months identifying the strategies which were the cheapest to implement, yet generated the greatest response. We both know marketing can be an expensive activity if it's not done correctly, so I did all the hard work and handpicked the most cost-effective ways to advertise. I know what you're probably thinking. Why on earth would Jeevan share this valuable information with me? Surely he would just use it for himself and grow his own tuition business. Well, firstly, I feel success should be shared and not kept to oneself. Most tutors in my position would keep this information under wraps for their own gain, but I'm not like that. I like to help others. I guess I developed this trait from my own teaching experience. And besides, you may be operating in a different area to me, so I'm sure it will have no impact on our businesses if we both use the same strategies, right? There are more than enough students to go around. In the past, I would give this guide away with no supporting materials, but now I've included a number of resources you can use to get the most out of these marketing techniques. The first is a copy of all my adverts in electronic format. You can literally change the subject on them and use them right now in your marketing campaigns. I'll also give you the same pre-sale document I send to parents to push me up to the top of their list. You simply have to email this document to an interested parent and almost instantly you'll be at the top of their pile. I've used this document to win over many clients in the past, and I'm certain it will do the same for you. You're probably thinking, okay Jeevan, this sounds really great, so what will all of this cost me? Well, all I ask from you today is a mere £47. If these same techniques are going to bring dozens of new students to your tutoring business and generate thousands of pounds in additional revenue, then I think £47 is a very fair price to pay. It also covers some of my cost and time I spent on identifying these strategies in the first place. £47 is what you would expect to comfortably make from just a couple of tuition sessions. Once you roll out my marketing strategies and attract a number of new students to your tutoring business, you'll recover this investment in no time. Is that a price worth paying if it's going to generate thousands of pounds of additional revenue for you? If it is, then click on the buy button below and get your copy now. It is a downloadable product, so you don't need to wait for the postman. You can discover my top 4 marketing strategies and put them into action right away. I am also offering a 100% watertight money back guarantee, so you can try out my methods for 2 months. If you don't get at least 12 new inquiries after using my marketing strategies, I don't want a single penny from you. Just send it back to me and I'll be happy to refund all your money. You really have nothing to lose. You can buy my product today and see a surge in demand for your tutoring business over the next 2 months, or you can return it and get a full refund. And I'll even let you keep the marketing materials just for showing some faith in me. You know, my winning adverts and that pre-sale document I send to parents to push me up to the top of their list? Whatever happens, you get to keep all of those for free. It's truly a win-win situation. Don't wait a second longer. Click on the order button below. It's just below this video. Remember, there's no better time to be in the tuition industry. Almost a quarter of students will hire a tutor at some point during their educational lives, and if you're based in London, this figure rises to 40%. This means there are potentially dozens of students living within 2 miles of your location who require your tutoring skills. You just have to make sure your adverts are reaching out to these individuals. And this is what my guide is all about, showing you the best and most efficient ways of putting your advert in front of this passionate crowd. By the way, although my 4 marketing strategies have been tried and tested in the UK, they should work anywhere in the world. You just need to adapt it to your particular location. To tell you the truth, the advertising medium is not the most important thing. What's more important is the copy or sales message on your advert as well as your follow-up process. If this is not strong enough, parents will not respond. In my guide, I'll show you how to master these 2 things so parents won't have to think twice about joining your service. And don't forget, you also have all those bonus resources and ongoing support from me. You can contact me at any time you need help or advice. The choice is yours. Either you can go it alone, continue to test out your untargeted advertising strategies and throw money down the drain, or you can work with me and try my proven marketing techniques that will have your phone literally ringing off the hook. I know what I would do, so please click on the order button below, and I look forward to helping you grow your tutoring business.